What's up, everybody? I haven't been live in some time. I figured I'd go on YouTube and do a quick live. We're tuning in from New York. Okay. The house is coming along swell. Just wanted to come on here and speak on the importance of being and remaining a student of the game. Every single time that we reach a specific level, well, let's start from the moment of receiving an idea, right? You receive an idea, you say, I want to be, I'll use myself as an example. I want to get my real estate license. I want to be a real estate agent, or I want to start investing in real estate. In the beginning, for me, the journey was just an idea. I want to be a real estate agent. I want to be a real estate investor. And now, 5 years later, right, we're here. But in the beginning of me receiving that idea, maybe I didn't know exactly where to start. So I asked myself, who do I know that's in real estate that's doing well? Who's closest to me that I have a reach on and I can reach out to and say, hey, I'm looking to get involved in the real estate game? Well, the first person that came to mind was my oldest brother, right? Eric. He already had a multifamily property. And if I'm looking to get into the real estate game, it would behoove me to have a conversation with him, right? And say, hey, how did you get started in real estate? That's where it first begins, right? Same thing when it comes down to fitness, right? Say you want to start going to the gym, you want to get six-pack abs, or you want to grow your physique to look a certain way. You have a specific image that you're working towards, right? A specific goal that you're working towards. And you ask yourself, okay, I want to gain 20 pounds, or I want to lose 20 pounds. Who do I know that has done it? Who do I know that has the results that I want? Start there, right? Now, luckily, my brother was in real estate, like I mentioned to you guys, and I was capable of having conversations with him. And he gave me a lot of game to get started in real estate, right? One of the first things he actually told me was, hey, between you and your brother Kevin, save up 10 grand and see how you guys can, and I'll teach you how to buy your first property. That's where it first started, right? Now, in the moment of me saving up that money, all I was doing was working and educating myself, right? So I was learning from people that were purchasing their first property through an FHA loan. I was learning through people that were raising capital. I was going to networking events. That's where it all started for me, right? And I vigorously placed myself in environments where other people knew the things that I didn't know, had the results that I didn't have, or the results that I wanted. And because of that, I placed myself in a situation where I was capable of absorbing all this knowledge, all this energy from people in the business that I wanted to excel in. And because of that, I was capable of compounding a certain amount of knowledge as I was making money on my job that allowed me to execute, right? I understood what tools I needed, right? So for me, starting off as a young real estate agent, let's say, because I decided to get my license, I started to make calls. And what did I need for me to make calls? Okay, well, I reached out to another person that I saw killing it he was on YouTube, he was killing it, right? I was like, man, this guy's doing something different that I see that all these other agents aren't doing. I'm going to these networking events, but this guy's got something figured out, right? And he was talking about cold calling expired listings, cold calling for sale by owners. So I started to dive deeper into what he was talking about. And then I stumbled upon a group that he had, right? At the time, it was called Modern Success. I joined that group because I wanted to be around the people that were also interested in gaining knowledge so that they can excel in this field. So it's always about learning, it's always about being a student of the game. So, as you know now, I continue to get deeper and deeper and deeper into the school of real estate because I wanted to get educated. But as I was finding out tips and tricks that I can implement into my business so that I can grow my real estate business, I started to apply it. So what was the first thing? Okay, well, I gotta get a book of leads, right? I gotta get a phone book or something that's gonna give me leads. Okay, so let's start with expireds. Well, there's software called Vulcan that feeds expireds to my database. I'm gonna go ahead and start there. And that's where I started, right? So as I was prospecting, got this book of numbers. I had my script. I started making calls. As I was making calls, I received feedback from the calls that I was making, and I started to calibrate my communication, calibrate my scripts, and consulting with the people that I was around to improve my communication so that I can land more appointments that will then eventually turn into leads, into clients, into past clients, into reviews, which will allow me to continue to build my business. Now, that's how I started. And I got to a point where on my second year in real estate, I finally broke six figures. Now, a lot of people, they get to a certain level, they get to a certain place, and they become complacent. And that's not good because in the beginning, you're motivated and you're inspired to go out there, hustle. You don't have anything. You don't have anything to lose. Like it's just the beginning of is the beginning of everything for you. So you're willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to make something happen. Cool. But what happens when you get to that point where you're making a good enough income, you're living a good lifestyle, and now all the things that you've applied, you're capable of building this lifestyle for you that you now were like, okay, well, this is where I want it to be. Now you're looking at, okay, how do I get to the next level? And that's the point, right? You can never get complacent. As soon as I broke six figures, I wanted to break seven figures, right? And it's so important for all of us, right, as we're climbing up to seek mentors that are doing more, to seek being a part of environments that demand more of us, right? Maybe in the beginning it was free networking events. Now for you to break to seven figures and learn about how to build a successful real estate team, it may cost you some money to get into these rooms. It may cost you some more level, a deeper level of investment, right? A higher cost of entry, and that's where I want to go ahead and tackle because when you get to a level, for example, where I'm at, see that property behind us, my brother and I are building it. The property that I'm in right now is an investment property that we're going to be Airbnb soon. But there's not a lot of people that are doing the things that I'm doing. So I got to get around people that are doing more than me and start to learn from them because you always want to be a student of the game. You never want to build an ego where you think that you know it all because that's when you stay static and you don't grow. And guess what? The world is always spinning. And if you're not moving faster than everything else around you, then you're getting outworked and you're going to be left behind. So the best thing that you can do is always be a student of the game, always be upgrading your knowledge, never stay in a position regardless of what level you're in. Regardless of what level you're in. You're in the very beginning, cool, hustle hard, take care of the disciplinary actions that you have to put in place to set yourself apart from all the losers and all the people that aren't willing to do what it takes to make things happen. And after you cross that bridge, let's say you pass six figures, start getting around the guys that are doing now seven figures. Start getting around the guys that are doing eight figures once you cross that seven figure bridge, nine figures, 10 figures. And it goes on. The point is to never stay complacent. It's cool to enjoy your life. It's cool to enjoy the fruits of your labor. However, you always have to be learning. Always. ABL, always be learning, right? And that's something that's been crucial for me and has allowed me to amass a great level of success. So right now we're sitting on a $10 million portfolio between my brother and I. And the reason why that's possible is because I never stopped sitting at the tables where now the people that are across from me at a high level, right? In the beginning, maybe I was sitting around the table where some of the guys are maybe closing one deal a month. Now I'm sitting in a table where some of the guys are closing 10 deals a month, right? So that's the difference. Never stay static. It doesn't matter how well you're doing. There's always somebody out there that's doing better than you. So the best thing that you can do is to seek out that knowledge that's going to allow you to tap into that next level so that you can continue to build your business, innovate, keep up with all the tools that are being upgraded as you're building your real estate empire, as you're building your mindset, as you're building your body, as you're building your relationships, so that you can continue to build an incredible life. And because of this, I've been able to build an incredible life, right? Even with dating. At first, I had specific dating coaches, and now I've upgraded my dating coaches to the life that I want. Because as you go through life, you're going to realize that there are certain things that you didn't necessarily know, but as you're speaking it into existence, and not even speaking it into existence, but bringing it into existence by all the hustle and all the grind and all the work that you've been putting in, now you're going to calibrate more towards a more narrow and specific vision that you didn't have before because you were never at this level. And that's why it's important. That's why a lot of people that win the lottery, most of them, they go broke because they didn't earn that. And because they didn't earn that, they're not going to seek out all the innovative tools and all the next, you could say, next chapter, right? Upgrade, whatever that is, for whether it's your business, your lifestyle, your friends, it could go on. But it's important for you to always keep scaling your life, because if you don't, you're going to fall behind. And there are going to be people that maybe started yesterday, but because you slowed down and you stopped, they caught up to you and now they're doing better than you, right? So you always want to be a student of the game, even if you're a teacher. In fact, being a teacher, because I am the leader of the Built from Pain network, right? And I have students that are learning from under me. It's much more important for me to now double down on my education and double down on my connections and double down on my networks and expand my life so that I can continue to excel. As my students come up, I continue to rise. That way I can continue to give them value as they come up with me. And that's the point, right? Especially as a teacher, as a coach, right? If you're watching this, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's very important for you to remain a student of the game, because this is how you continue to tap into new levels that keep giving, that keep creating a reality that's, to the outside world, unbelievable. Like, when is this guy going to stop? Never. That's the answer. Never. Don't stop. Because the second that you stop is the second that you're going to lose everything. You can't stop. Once you start, you can't stop. You can't ever stop. Right? And I'm not saying this to be some kind of motivational speaker or some kind of motivational guru or anything like that. I'm saying this because I noticed that in the times where I did, okay, you know what? Let me just relax for a little bit, enjoy this. If I stayed there for too long, which I have, I've made that mistake in the past where I've stayed in a position of comfort for too long. I saw my momentum retract. And now I had to work 10 times harder for me to get to the level where I was at so that I can continue to climb the ladder of success from where I was at. It's much more easier for you to continue to compound the momentum that you've already built from the sweat equity that you've put into your business, from the sweat equity that you've put into the gym. I mean, that's the perfect example that I can give you guys about the gym, right? You're going to the gym. It takes you about fucking 3 months for you to see 10% of the results, right? And you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wow, I look great. And then you start taking some cheat meals. You start doing all these things that were outside of the habits that granted you that success. You start to just become more lazy. And then in just a fucking week or two, you can already notice the difference, right? You can lose that 10% to 20% growth in just fucking 2 weeks of you being lazy, of you not doing the things that you have to do to continue to climb up the ladder. And that's what I'm saying. You reach a goal, okay, cool, set a new one. You reach that goal, set another one, and just continue to climb. Every time you reach a goal, yeah, celebrate, reward yourself. However, don't stay there for too long. Always be a student of the game. Don't ever think that you know it all, or you've reached a level where there's no more knowledge, because there's always more knowledge, right? And for me, it's almost as if the more levels that I reach, the more I understand that I don't know. And that's the point. There's so much more knowledge out there that regardless of where you are, regardless of what level you're at, there's always a time for you to sit down and make more connections. Study something that will allow you to upgrade your teachings, allow you to upgrade your knowledge so that you can now innovate processes, innovate your systems, right? Grow bigger, but never stay complacent. Never, never. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. It's been about 15 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it off with this. Regardless of where you are today, future, as you can, if you continue to climb up the ladder, if you continue to seek more knowledge, if you continue to allow yourself to have an open mind, right? If you continue to look at yourself in a way where you don't fucking know everything, it will allow you to reach new levels where you can continue to bring more to your life that you can now expand on, right? This is how I keep doing bigger and bigger things, right? 2 years ago, I only had, I want to say 12 to 13 units. Now I have 30 units, right? 2 years ago, my real estate portfolio was worth 500,000, maybe. No, actually, no, 14 units. I would say maybe two. Yeah. So I would say maybe 3 million 2 years ago. Now it's worth 10 million. 2 years from now, my real estate portfolio better be worth at least 50 mil, at least. But that's the point. How am I going to get there? Yes, I can continue to build the connections that I already have now that is going to help me climb to that next level. But for me to reach that $50 million real estate portfolio, I have to continue to make connections, right? I have to continue to reach out to people, set up dinners, set up, uh, let's say, coffee meetings or whatever it is that I'm doing to build my connections, right? Continue to give value to others so that I can continue to meet people that will ultimately be of value to me. And that's business because it's people that have the opportunities. That's why I keep going back to people. People have the opportunity. When you're looking to sell your product to somebody, you're selling it to a person. When you're looking to collaborate with somebody, you're collaborating with a person. So that's another thing. Keep making connections. You never have enough connections. You never have enough connections. So always be a student of the game because there's always something to learn. The second that you stop is the second that you stop growing, the second that you start dying, the second that you start retracing. Never do that. Always keep growing, always be a student of the game.